to deep fry it. So his will be good, but mine will be better.
I was going to make a standing rib roast, but there's only the two
deep
of
fry
them.
it. Yeah. So his will be good, but mine will be better.
Yep. But we're going to be celebrating tomorrow. We're not going to have a regular Christmas dinner on Christmas. We're going to do it tomorrow on Christmas Eve.
I'm picking up my Dungeon Master, and we're gonna play D&D from 2 to whenever.
Roll for initiative.
Absolutely. I think tomorrow's campaign is Ravnica.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
I get to play I've been playing a Goblin Barbarian.
Hey, Jonathan, isn't you're still in Hanukkah?
Well, I mean, if I was more Jewish than I actually am, yeah, I'd still be in Hanukkah.
Yeah, it's the 5th day of Hanukkah, right?
Okay, so I have everybody here as my witness. If I come back in 3 years and Jeremy Karsten turns me down again for VCS, I'm going back with James Herring, and it's Jeremy's fault. Just saying.
Sure.
It's all Jeremy's fault.
Oh, there's a bunch.
Jeremy has enough jobs as it is.
Yeah,
Jeremy has enough jobs. Yeah. Well, the new administration took away my my exit strategy. I was gonna try and step down as RC and leave it to Lucy, but well, now she's going to be the chief of comms, so I guess I'll run one more time. Yeah, just like I already working on my golf game for the retirement.
yeah.
You gotta train a deeper bench, Jeremy. That's all that is.
Take it from someone who has successfully retired, by the way. It's wonderful.
Yeah. So now I'm shopping for a new VRC that we can train and groom into for the RC post. So going to go with that mentorship mentality.
And you can always, resign in their favor. Once you get them squared away to where they could do your job, which is actually your job.
Well, that so one more term will give me a nice even 10 years.
Well, the sad thing
Which
is
is insane to think about.
Everybody's like, "Are you retiring? What are you doing after you retire?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm actually retiring from CS, but I'm not retiring from serving the fleet. So I've actually applied for multiple positions."
Yeah, I've got to start lining up your interviews. I was just going to figure out like how many you applied for, just do all of them for you at once.
He's going to have like 15 collateral duties, right?
At least for the ones that are under my bailiwick.
No, I think the only thing I applied for was Surgeon General. I decided not to do the Corps.
Okay.
Hey, Steven,
Yeah.
check your telephone's text messages.
Oh, hang on. I ain't got nothing, homie.
Just think, I think Fran's got like 12 jobs now.
Yeah.
The
Brand's
program-
crazy man too.
So, Steve,
Drew, I didn't get it, dude, unless you sent it to the wrong telephone number.
Uh-oh, your old phone.
Steve, let me ask you a question while we have a brief pause here. So this is live streaming right now?
It is live streaming to not Facebook, YouTube.
Live streaming to YouTube. Okay. Do you know how many people are watching at this point? Is there any place for them to ask questions or anything like that?
Yes, they can. I've got my YouTube channel analytics up, so I can be able to see when people are asking questions.
All right, go with your messenger.
And just wondering for anybody who's watching this for the first time, in which case it's the night before Christmas. What the hell are you doing on a Friday night watching this for the first time?
We're Star Trek nerds. Okay, we got nothing better to do on a Friday night.
That's true. That's why we're all here. Anyway, do we want to go around and just introduce ourselves, just so people know who's talking?
Yes. So I'm Steve Parmley. I am the outgoing commander of Starfleet, the International Fan Association.
Very outgoing.
Well, he's had this job for a while.
Which direction are we going in?
Out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll go down. So
Well,
Jeffrey,
he's going out. Yeah.
I am Admiral Jeffrey Higdon, outgoing Chief of Communications. Another couple of days, and I'm going to wave goodbye to Starfleet headquarters in the rear view mirror. I'm not planning to golf. No, but I am going to look at other options. I'm gonna probably catch up on Starfleet Academy stuff. I mean, I've only got 200 courses, 236 courses, and Eric's in the billions here. So I want to do something there, and I also look at other options in the next few years, see what's going on. But
As we
over
announced
to
in
the other guy.
Who's next? I
Richard?
don't know.
We'll go down to Jarek. Eric Johansson. I'm tired.
Okay, so Eric Johansson recently became Vice Admiral. Yay.
Congratulations.
Still haven't
Congrats.
figured out how to spend the additional quatlus. I've got 4 jobs at the moment. Ditching the what's it called? Senior Vice Chief of Communications, Media Services at the end of the year. So I'll just have 3 other jobs, that is.
Just
Yeah, it's DC04 SCOM Awards, and then the director for the College of Physics and the assistant director for the College of Starship Design. And it's only Jeff, it's only 3,300. I haven't gotten up to billion yet. Courses. Of course, it might be 3,400.
Sort of like McDonald's, billions and billions.
Yes.
All right, we'll go down
Of
to
stars.
Yeah, him and Brigadier Bill.
going with who?
Jeremy.
Okay. Jeremy Karsten, RC Region 3, Director of Auxiliary Services, and CO ForceCom. So I'm having fun. Been a while since I've been on one of these. I'm actually up late enough to come do After Dark instead of rolling to bed after all that. So
I had to check. So let's go, Tim.
Oh, me. Colonel Tim Johns, XO USS ENIAC, and official Starfleet smartass.
That definitely goes
Right.
with that.
Right, Steve?
Yes. How's the database? You're lucky I don't have that icon right now. I would do that. We'll go Richard.
I am Colonel Richard Steele. I am the brigade OIC of 10th Brigade. I am also the XO of the USS Chinook. I'm from Calgary, Alberta, in Canada, and it's colder here than most of you. Maybe not all of you, but definitely most of you.
Jonathan.
Me. Jonathan Lane, former Chief of Communications from about a million years ago, or 2008 to 2010. So Vice Admiral, and right now pretty much just a kibitzer in Starfleet. My main Star Trek occupation right now is one of blogger. As you can see behind me, it says Fan Film Factor. That is my regular blog where I cover the Star Trek fan film making community. So if you want to go to fanfilmfactor.com, you'll see lots of cool stuff, including my own fan film. I made one of my own. And I am here tonight at the invitation of Fladmiral Parmley to talk about, unfortunately, a rather tragic loss for one of our former CSs, Sal Lizard. And right now we are endeavoring to sell his memoirs, a book that was published back in 2012 called Being Santa Claus, because Sal is or at least was, a professional real bearded Santa. And we wrote a book together back when he was CS and a little bit afterwards, and it was published by Gotham Books, a division of Penguin Publishing. And The book was in print for a few years, and then it was not in print, and it was kind of cool to be a published author. And anyway, when the book went out of print, the rights reverted to us, and I thought, maybe we could do an audio book of this. There were a lot of stories of Sal's that were left on the cutting room floor by the publisher, and well, we could do an unabridged version. And I started working on that before the pandemic lockdown. And then take a little bit of a hiatus, but afterwards I was able to finish it up, and I was all ready to show Sal and his wife Linda this wonderful reading of everything. And literally as I was finishing up the last reading, I got home, and a couple of days later I read that Sal's wife Linda had passed away. And
Yeah, I remember that.
that was very, very tragic. However, it wasn't for a few more weeks. I obviously kept up with Sal, that I discovered that because Linda was the main breadwinner, that Sal was living on food stamps, and his landlord had graciously offered to temporarily suspend the rent until Sal's daughter can get out of treatment herself. And then I thought, okay, well, if I can get this book finished and get it up there, at least we could start getting some revenue, and I'll pass it along to Sal. I've got a few $1,000s, in rental and a sound engineer that I paid. But, at this point, Sal needs money much more than I do. So a few days ago, I called it just got up. I mean, like earlier on this week, it finally was approved by Audible. And I got in touch with Steve, and I got in touch with Dave Nottage, and I said, I know that Starfleet says you can't advertise to Starfleet if it's going to make you money personally, but Sal really needs help. And Dave mobilized. I mean, within a few hours, he had set up all this different stuff for me, and we've gotten approval for me to write something on the Starfleet page. And he said, you might as well do Starfleet After Dark. And
That's when he
one of your podcasts. So anyway, that's what I'm doing here. I'm just here to answer questions and talk about the book and see if I can convince you all to buy a copy.
Let's see, who else have we not introduced? John Hardy.
I'm Fleet Captain John Hardy, USS Essex, Region 20, commonly known as a vampire.
We're now for people that don't know, where is Region 20? Where do you reside?
UK.
UK. So England, correct?
Yeah, England. Yeah.
Well, the UK is more than just England. You have Scotland. Yeah. You have.
He's in Essex. He doesn't.
Sean and Drew, why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Drew Malcolm, Captain, Commander of the USS Russell Point in Region 2, in Florida.
In the XO.
This is John Dewar, XO.
And the producers of After Dark normally.
Yeah, we're the assistant producers.
Yeah, Drew's my grandpa.
We're the ones that Steve gets to yell at if something goes seriously sideways.
Unless he does it to himself.
But that's only in 23 minutes.
Now, mind you, the reason why that did happen was we just got back from a parade and both of us were dying.
Yes.
And Steve took over the controls.
Steve
nicely.
graciously went to do it, and he went to hit the wrong click. Instead of him,
Steve was
all left.
Steve was tired that night, and Steve was like, "Okay, I'm just going to leave." Oh no, Steve ended the show for everybody.
All three of us, I think, we were all like gone by the time we started it, much less. Hey, we made it 23 minutes. I was pretty freaking impressed.
Right.
There was
John talked for like 2 hours or something.
Yeah,
Well, the green room always goes on long after the broadcast is over.
What was funny about that night is John stayed awake and you got to snore. That was better.
And of course, we have another RC Region 4, Justin Fitzik, who he's camera shy because he breaks his camera every time he turns it on. So we won't ask him to show his face. That'd be okay.
Hey, and Justin.
There he is. See, if I torment him just a little bit, he'll come out of the woodwork.
He's trying, but he's not very well lit.
Yeah, you're on mute.
Turn the light on.
He stays on mute.
Yeah.
So for everybody that is was asking, this is Sal's Audible. You can it's called Being Santa Claus, where I learned about the true meaning of Christmas. I have not read it. I did not actually know that he had a book out. So I will, since I have the Audible, I will definitely have to listen to it. I'm making a drive up to Central Illinois tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and hopefully I'm going to braze the snow and everything else I can try to not deal with. But
amusingly, there's a chapter later on in the book where Sal has been hired to go visit a children's home in Massachusetts, and he basically, you know, the children live in this home, you know, it's not like, you know, they're going there to see Santa, and where there's a level 3 snow emergency. This was like 2008, 2009 or something. And level 3 snow emergency is basically like we have right now, you know, where you cannot drive on the roads unless you're an emergency vehicle.
Yeah.
And Sal, you know, he's basically going to be driving for 3 hours, but, you know, he can't not go. And, you know, when the cop finally stops him on the road, and he says, okay, where are you going, Santa? And he explains, you know, I'm going to be visiting a children's home, and, you know, I can't do this any other time. The kids are expecting me. And he said, you know, look at me, officer. I'm the one person who can't use a blizzard as an excuse not showing up. So
that is true.
He ended up getting a police escort. You know, the stories in the book are all absolutely true. I mean, there was one person who gave it a review who said, you know, the stories are just so perfect that I almost wonder if they're true. It's like, yeah, they're actually true. So, you know, Sal is really like that.
Wow.
If I may, I've heard stories about Sal. None bad, all incredibly good. Charity begins at home. This is Starfleet's chance to stand up and say, we appreciate everything you've done and everything you're going to do in the future.
Well, I certainly, you know, do appreciate that. There was actually one member earlier on today, the captain of a ship, who unfortunately did not have access to Audible and wanted to take me up on my offer to just send her an MP3. And I said, okay, well, you know, obviously, since we're not going through Audible, I don't have to worry about, you know, giving them royalty. Would you like a little discount? And she said, no, I'm going to give a little extra. And she ended up PayPaling me $100 for what was a $17.60 book, which I immediately sent to Sal, by the way. I gave him a call, and, you know, he got choked up, and it was another one of those teary moments. I actually invited him to come tonight, and he just said, he said, I can't. He said, I'll burst into tears. But you know, he is so appreciative of everything. And Mr. Nottage, yeah, there we go. And Mr. Nottage, who just got here, has been pestering me to start a GoFundMe, which actually I'm happy to do, and he's actually volunteered Starfleet services to do it, so people don't think I'm pocketing the money myself, which is fine. And so there'll probably be a GoFundMe for Sal up soon. My only idea with the book is that, you know, GoFundMe tends to be a very quick kind of emergency influx of cash, which is great. But if the book can do well, if we can get some good word of mouth out there, you know, this thing could be selling for years, I hope. You know, which gives Sal potentially some long-term income. So basically, you know, both are fine. You know, everybody wins.
Got a question for you there, John. John
32.
I'm looking at the page right now, and I have a hard time with audiobooks. It's just not the way I like to consume my book media. Are the hardcover and paperbacks that are listed the same one that you worked on, or is that the previous editions?
That doesn't have as many stories in it, but you could certainly. Okay. We will not get any royalty from that because the book is
okay.
friend. However, do you do Kindle?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can.
Let me get you a link for Kindle.
Oh,
I think you put the Kindle link up on the Facebook.
Yeah, I also have it here somewhere. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, if you guys go to it, you can listen to a sample of the Audible. Definitely worth listening to.
Actually, you can play it right now if you wanted to, right?
See if I can figure out how to do that.
By the way, hey, Steve, how you doing?
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
I'm driving in Waikiki at the moment, so.
Oh, shut up.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet the temperature is beautiful.
All the four-letter words.
Actually,
All of them.
Waikiki.
Hey,
All of them.
Waikiki is the Las Vegas of Hawaii.
It's 79.
I've been there. I know.
And I just spent the day on the sandbar on the wall.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, David,
yeah.
I'll send you the negative 29-degree weather we had last night.
Hey, I'll take it.
Hey, they got a freaking
The rest of
sulfuric
Hawaii
acid
dies,
volcano
but-
happening on the Big Island right now. So
Well, I actually just did a segment on Starfleet News on the volcano because I actually went and saw it live, actually erupting, and it's something that really makes you, it's one of those things that make you go, really makes you take stock in your life.
Well, hey, you should be careful because you haven't assumed office yet, and I'm sure Ryan will have a heart attack if something happens to you.
I
Well,
believe it was,
for me, going to a volcano is no problem because, the only people that really have a problem there are virgins. And that's
a lot of Starfleet people may have a
that's
problem.
that's a Joe versus the volcano reference.
Yeah.
And I'm not ready to assume command of the Golden Gate.
Well, I
Yeah,
believe it was the great Jimmy Buffett who once said, "I don't know where I'm going to go when the
To
volcano."
go when the volcano blows. Exactly.
Also a parrot head. Yes.
So the future CS is looking for somebody to make him a scant.
I have
I actually
someone.
know people.
I've got Michelle from the Corps of Engineers. She's in the process. We've already done the adaptation for an admiral, and we're in material mode now.
Oh,
But,
sweet! I didn't know that. But
we're in progress.
I was gonna say, if you come to Sci-Fi Barto, David, I'll let you use my vest. It's long enough to be a scant.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I might be a little taller than you, and that might be a little inappropriate.
How's
No, I'm happy that I just got my Strange New Worlds away team full uniform. I got the full boots, the away team leather jacket, and the yellow shirt. And man, it looks good.
Hey, Dave, a pro tip from that we learned over here. Tank had the scant made with the, I guess the official pattern or whatever.
Right.
And he highly does not recommend that.
Well, we
It's-
modified the pattern because I'm a little I don't have like skinny abs or anything like that. So we've
Well, I guess
we've modified it.
the issue was it was built in with shorts, so it's more like a romper than a dress.
Oh no, this is not shorts. I have to actually buy an undergarment that's going to be
Yeah.
appropriate for it.
Yeah, he really didn't like that feature
I
because
can't
he
find
basically
one-
had to
I
get
can't find one
undressed
with-
just to pee.
I can't find one with snaps though.
Well, of course, Dave, you can do the old Scotsman way of riding a scant and say, "I see you won first prize."
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that-
every time I raise my hand, it's going to be Free Willy on Zoom, which is going to happen.
Jonathan, the thing is, a kilt goes to your knees, so it actually covers something.
Right?
Scant is shorter than your knees.
Yeah, but I'm talking to Jonathan. I'm not debating you, Dave. I'm talking to
Oh,
Jonathan.
no
and
worries.
saying that like, no, a kilt goes to your knees or a little below. There's
All I
a little
can
more
say is
room.
That one Scottish soldier that's sitting next to Queen Elizabeth, somebody forgot to mention that to him.
Yeah.
Whatever.
If you're under 6'3", Dave, it'll fit you right to your knees. His vest will.
I am 6'3".
Oh God, you two are the same height.
No, I'm 6 foot, but I'm a huge guy. You don't have the belly I got.
Yeah, well, I'm working on getting rid of that. I got another 10 pounds to go, and
No, what is this? What is this? Brag about how good my life is, David? Is that what you're doing? I'm like,
Hey,
I'm
I'm in
losing
Hawaii.
weight. I'm in Hawaii.
Richard, now you get it. Now you get it. Now you get it.
Yeah.
Melly,
This is the holidays. This is the time that we all collect extra pounds, it seems.
well,
Oh, boy.
yeah, that doesn't start till
It's
the
3
next-
years of this show of how good Dave's life is.
Right? Just a little bit.
He said he needs to lose 10. He didn't tell you that he actually had already lost it. He's just gained it in the last 2 holiday dinners.
I'm actually down 15 from when I left San Francisco, and I got another 10 to go.
So so give him ammo, Drew. Come on.
Richard, ask him in 3 years how he feels.
Hey, he just told you how to lose weight. You leave California. All those taxes that he's saving over in Hawaii. Helped him.
Hawaii's cost of living is way more than California's. You want to buy
Yeah,
gas-
which I don't think that's how you save money.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I
the last time I was in Hawaii, a half gallon of milk was like $7.50.
No, now it's $8 for a gallon of milk, $4 at Costco, and I just bought gas for $4.50, and that's super. In California, still San Francisco's at $6 a gallon.
Hey,
Yeah, that's San Francisco.
Paducah, Kentucky.
We all know how that works though. It's because Hawaii is a
Island.
blue state.
Very blue.
So
So it's California.
Paducah is sitting at $2.25 a gallon for fuel.
Woohoo! Nice. I love it.
And I'm going to come get you, Steve.
No, you're asking to stay out in California.
Yeah, it's about here. It's about that here.
I won't even.
in San Antonio,
I'm
I'm
paying.
like 2:30,
I'm now driving
2:70.
past my high school, and then it's going to be University of Hawaii coming up next.
It's cold.
Justin, you couldn't deal with this cold weather we got out here. You're too much West Coast.
Are
Actually,
you saying I couldn't
could.
deal with it? Or are you talking
Oh,
to Dave?
yes, I'm talking to you. It's a little floating head I see with a hat.
Okay. Hey, if we want to talk about gas, I'm paying, I think it's $1.89 right now for a
Wow.
quart. A
But
quart
that's
of
Canadian,
gas.
though.
Well, that's right.
Not
Canada
a
charges you
gallon,
by the quart.
a quart.
Wait, how much,
American cars don't even register.
Richard, how much are you paying for that again?
Yeah, well, I believe in
$1.89.
Yeah, I believe in Canadianese that's referred to as a liter.
Hey, where are the Canadians to get that?
Hey,
You
dude,
know how hard it is to talk weather with these people?
you know, it was very funny. The first time I ever went to Toronto, the first time I ever went to Toronto, you got me on all 3 metrics. Like the first thing was like, okay, I think we're still 2 hours away from Toronto as we cross the Niagara Falls, and then suddenly it just,
That's almost right.
you know, but you know what I end up seeing on the, you know, on the mileage is kilometers, but I had no idea. So, you know, I'm seeing a ridiculously high number, and I'm like, oh, wait a second, we're not even close yet.
Did the customs guy not give you the guide?
Not even
Hi,
the
metric,
guide.
here you are.
But then I went to buy gas, and I was like, oh my God, I had no idea the GDP of Canada was so great, because like gas was like a third of what it was, you know, in New York State. And like, oh wow. And then I realized, oh no, it's liter. And then the next day it was like -4 going up to a high of maybe -2 or something like that. I was like, it doesn't feel that cold. It's like it feels like it's in the 20s or something. It doesn't feel like it's -4. And oh, right.
Well, speaking of kilometers, my oldest daughter was driving a rental and she was in there messing with stuff. And she changed it from miles to kilometers on the little digital dash thing. And so she's sending, she sent me a picture. I didn't know it at first that she had did this. And she sent me a picture and she was showing me how fast she was going. And I had called to cuss her out to tell her she needs to slow down. And she's like, Dad, they're passing me on the interstate. She's like, I'm not speeding. I'm like, not according to the picture you just sent me. I said, that's felony. I mean, that you're going to jail.
Felony endangerment.
Yeah. And so it turns out, no, she just was playing with something that she shouldn't have.
I did that in my work vehicle and I somehow switched it over to kilometers and it was 117. I'm like, oh crap, I got to slow down. Oh wait, no, it was kilometers.
Hey, well, I'm getting,
John,
guys, I'm getting
or
getting to the party. I'm getting to the party that I'm going to. So let me wish you guys all a Mele Kaliki Maka, Merry Christmas, a Hui Maka Hiki Ho, Happy New Year. Please, everyone, be safe. Enjoy your holiday season, and as I've been saying, we'll talk to you on the flip side.
See you guys.
have
Okay.
something, David,
Yeah,
because
the
I
other
can't
side.
remember what's Hawaiian for the words I'm thinking of right now. I did learn them one time.
Which
Merry
word?
Christmas.
Enjoy
Merry
your
Christmas.
next 8 days
All
of
right, talk
freedom
to you
there,
guys
Nadi.
later. Have a great one. Bye.
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 Aloha.
Anyways, John from the Essex, what's
Yeah.
petrol where you are?
I can't. I'll look. I mean, I'll check.
That's one thing I remember when I first met John. He was like super uber excited to be on here, and he was talking so fast. And I'm sitting here like, what the hell did you just say? And he got excited and he slowed down. And John has been with me. I think he's watched every episode I have. He got nicknamed the vampire because it didn't matter the time of the day. He was up watching and was wanting to be on some type of show. So he's definitely one of the people I'll miss at CS.
Yeah, John, the
I
sun
see
hasn't
how you are,
come up
Steve.
for you yet, has it?
Uh-huh.
The sun hasn't come up over the island
Mm.
yet, has it?
No.
No, it's still winter there.
It's 4 a.m.
It's super time there.
Petrol is 189.
A liter, right?
198 198 per litre.
But 198 pounds?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I don't know what 10 pounds to dollars are.
Yeah.
So
And
it's like
diesel,
$400 here or something. I don't know.
yeah, and diesel's 208.
And Eric just put up as $1.33 9/10
Mm.
per liter, right, Eric?
Yep. Shit.
Yep. That's Canadian money. So I don't know, like 50 cents American, something like that.
Look, it's not that cheap in Canada.
No. So
No.
you guys,
That's pretty expensive, actually.
Well, that's per liter, not per gallon. So
are you all looking for the start of the new year? Excited
Hush.
about it?
It'll be what, more of the same? I'll get an email every couple weeks from Dave telling me how great his life is. That'll be the only difference.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it just I'm gonna look forward to December 31st at 12:01, not having access to the CS email no more board meetings, no more EC meetings. I might, if I get a position somewhere in the fleet, I might have to file a report once a month. That's about it.
What do you have there, John Rogers?
You always got some type of alcohol.
Yeah, I'm the official Starfleet drunk. I am the Colonel Ty of Starfleet.
I forgot to get. I was going to my parents, therefore I did not buy Kraken.
Whoa.
Taylor Jerry, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's just, I actually prefer the taste of Black Carpet. They were out of hand. So I had to suffer.
So for people that don't know, John is my XO. He has been my
I'm
XO
suffering.
since about. Actually, I made him XO while my wife was in there giving birth to my daughter. I had to step out and get some fresh air, and he had sent me a message and started talking to me. I called him on the phone, and he became my XO in April of 2011. And
No, it was 2013.
No, because Fiona wasn't born yet.
No, it was 2013. I promise. That's when I joined SF5.
We might
It
have
was
to
the same. I don't know. I'll have to look, but I don't think so.
let me see here. I can always go in and change a date. Hang on. I mean, this is Starfleet. We broke rules for stupider stuff. Not saying anything.
You could backdate my membership.
Backdate your membership to the early 1900s. Make your old ass.
So what? Make him the same? You'd make him join the same week Drew did?
Oh shit, that's harsh.
Do what?
It took Drew a minute to catch on.
Well, we weren't listening.
Yeah, what? Oh, shit. What am I gonna have to, Steven, what did you do?
I didn't do nothing. Don't be saying Steven. I ain't doing nothing. And just in a couple of weeks, I probably still ain't gonna be doing nothing because that's just how it's gonna work.
Well, I'll tell you what. I told Tori the last show, I said, yes, Steven said he's definitely gonna be here for Sci-Fi Barto. She lit for 2 weeks. She's so excited.
I put my vacation time in. Unless something drastic happens, I will be at Sci-Fi Barto.
She is absolutely your number one fan, Steven.
But I will not be
that
in
hasn't changed,
uniform. I have hung my uniforms up, and they will stay there until I decide if I become CS again one year.
You're gonna go back to the insanity, huh?
I might.
Yeah, but by then, is there enough room for you to let your uniforms out by then?
Probably. Probably.
Does your uniform currently fit?
Yes, and I have a lot of room in both my uniforms.
Oh, then it's better than your military uniform, dude. You're catching me.
I have not yet. I'm not buying any new uniforms because we're transitioning over to the new style. There's no sense of getting new uniforms for the old style when we're transitioning over to the new style.
I'm just saying, you're
I
catching
will
me.
admit that makes perfect sense, Steve.
Oh, see, we haven't posted the pictures of this on After Dark.
What?
Oh, just a little thing I made.
Hold on. The new display setup.
It's a little one for Sci-Fi Barto.
And they're working on a second light box for
the Amelia
Earhart.
Cool.
Hey, John Rogers, I'm getting ready to send you a message.
Uh-oh.
And 3 more of these.
Oh yeah, you'll get a kick out of this because you know what? You're actually wrong and I'm right. What a fucking coincidence. Check your messages. Well, someone has to ask. If you ask about that data, when will I hate you.
No. I beat you to it earlier.
I don't have that icon or I would right now. I'm just saying.
The database is the database, and since yeah, I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah, that was the last thing I wanted to get done in CS it's just about done where they can start letting people really start getting in there and messing with it. But Tony had to rewrite it all because of an issue with TRMN. He has busted his hump on that. He's busted his butt hand over hand on that thing. And I'm just glad to think that we'll have something new soon. I'm sad it wasn't done in my term, but we'll, as long as it gets done and the membership gets happy and they're taken care of, I don't really care.
Nice try, Steve.
But
Check your messages.
He's the new CS, absolutely.
It'd be a long drive to do that, though, seeing as he's in Hawaii now.
he'll be back in less than 6 months.
Got to
He does-
fly back. They can tase him at the airport.
They could take it.
Isn't he supposed to fly over to England like next month?
I know he's going on that Star Trek cruise thing and visit our friends down in Mexico. I think that's in January, maybe February though.
I thought he was also flying over to like England area.
I think he is, but later, I believe. He talked about it during one of our times talking to everybody, you know.
Yeah, he's planning like a pretty big tour.
Well, then my 10-year pin is 2 years late.
Better watch it. That Omicron is starting to flare up again. So be careful out there, guys.
It's a bad case of the flu.
I work in Walmart. I get, worse germs just working.
I've been in a Walmart. I can believe you.
Are you kidding? That you remember the Walmart shooting in Chesapeake, Virginia? I was literally in that Walmart 2 hours before it happened.
Oh, 2 hours before the manager shot up his own store?
Yep.
Nice.
It was the manager that did that?
Yeah. It was the manager shot up his team and then shot himself.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I wish I'd been there.
I'm like, the guy that's making the most in the building decides, oh, I'm going to kill everybody.
No, he was
a
the
manager,
store
not
manager.
the-
He's the department manager, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, the team leads, they make more money than the salary because they get overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So you got a team lead making $22 an hour, and the salary guys are capped at $50,000 a year, and they both have to work the same amount of hours.
Yeah, well, it's the time and a half that makes the difference for the team leads.
Of course, most of them don't do their job anyways. That's why we have new management in my store. They're replacing almost all of them.
They are. They're even down here. They've our local Walmart here. They've gone through and gutted everything.
Well, the store manager had a stroke. The co-manager didn't do anything, so they moved him to a different store. So we now have a new manager, and he's bringing in all of his people from his last store.
Bringing his well-oiled machine with him, huh?
Yep.
That's not necessarily a bad idea.
That depends on what the quality of the manager is.
You want.
Hey guys, I was told I had about an hour to be on this call by my wife, who must be obeyed because her parents are here. So I've got another 7 minutes until I turn into a pumpkin. Does anybody have any other questions or things I can answer for you?
I'm
You-
good.
Thanks for the Kindle link. I went ahead and bought that.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I am also working on, by the way, a paperback version. Apparently, if you do Kindle, they will make you a paperback. I have no idea how much it's going to cost, but right now I'm trying to lay it out in Microsoft Word, which is fairly easy unless you want things like page numbers and those little things that say "Being Santa Claus" and "Sal Lizard" across the left and right sides, and then it's more complicated.
Oh,
Absolutely
you just said,
hate
you just said he's headed
Microsoft
to
Word.
Word.
I use Google Docs for everything, and I'm told that transfers over fairly well to a lot of the various book formats,
Well, I'll tell you,
especially e-readers.
well, the e-readers, I already have the Kindle version, so we're good. Now this is actually laying out for print, and apparently
Yeah.
there's an actual template that you can download from Amazon to plug it into, but it's a Word. So I'm working my way through it. Just basically every time you have another chapter, you have to end the section at the end of the previous chapter. And then you take the first page of the chapter and you create another section at the end of that first page so that you can remove the little "Being Santa Claus" or "Sal Lizard" from the top of the chapter heading. But then you have to unlink all of the headers and footers after that so that by deleting that "Being Santa Claus," you don't delete everyone that comes after or everyone that comes before. It's a pain in the tuchus, let me tell you. But I'm doing it for Sal, and also for me because I like to be famous. But at this point, we've sold 7 audiobooks, so we aren't exactly raking in the big bucks. But I'm hoping that people will buy the audiobooks. Don't tell us, or you're preaching to the choir here. I hope. But yeah, if you can just sort of let your friends know, and you can listen to a sample of it.
It's about a 5-minute sample.
Yeah, that it is only a 5-minute sample. In fact, I mean, perhaps I can play it for you from my computer. Let's see. Tell me if you guys can hear.
You can click on the Zoom. There's a little share thing.
Click on the Zoom. There's the little share thing. Can you tell me where the little share thing is?
Bottom center.
Share screen. Host disabled participant screen sharing.
Hang on, I can do this. There you go. Now try it.
Alrighty. Share screen.
You just didn't want dicks all over the place, Drone.
Yeah, well.
Let me get on that.
Those fucking palm trees.
If it happened, we knew it came from Texas, so it had to be Jeremy.
Password. Let's just see.
I'd be way more creative than that.
You will not be able to
Fight.
record the contents of your screen until it is quit. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens if I share the screen and go to Amazon and share. Do you guys see this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see if you can hear it. So, did you hear that or no?
No.
No, there's another button you can press for sharing sound with the screen. I forget where it is right now, but
When you go back to the share screen, there's a little button where you can just click share sound before you start sharing that screen.
All right. Well, hold on. Stop share. Share screen. I see. Share sound. All right. Now let's see what happens. And then tell me if this is too loud as I refresh this so you can hear the whole thing.
Chapter 32. Back off. Santa's mine.
So can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
did hear that, yes.
All righty. So here we
Yes.
go. 5 minutes of one of the chapters.
Started working my regular hours at the Newington Picture People store during the first week of November. And things went pretty much as they had the year before in Taunton. I enjoyed the staff. I hung out in the waiting area or stood in front of the store during times when business slowed down. And of course, I played with the children who came in. Most times, even the most timid of children would eventually warm up to me. Usually all it took was a little bit of patience, a warm smile, and not being too pushy. A few times I'd encounter a child who never got comfortable with me, and I accepted that as just another part of being Santa Claus. And then I met Gabriella. She walked in with her mother and looked directly at me, sitting on a chair in the waiting area. "Well, hello there," I said with a smile to this little girl with blonde, curly hair and big green eyes. She couldn't have been more than 4 years old, if that. The little girl stood there, holding on to her mother's leg, staring at me with more suspicion, I think, than I have ever seen on anyone's face. "Gabriella, say hello to Santa Claus," her mother encouraged brightly. The little girl simply buried her head deep into her mother's skirt. Of course, this made it difficult for Mom to walk over to the sales counter and get in line. "Gabriella, honey, Mommy needs to do a few things over here. Why don't you go and play with some toys? They have so many." Gabriella started to let go of her mother's leg and hesitantly shuffled toward the waiting area with all the toys. "That's right, honey. Go right over there and play." The mother looked at me and I smiled back and nodded to indicate that I'd keep an eye on her daughter for her. Of course, I knew I had found a tough nut to crack. And so I turned my attention elsewhere, allowing Gabriella to explore the toys and books which had gotten scattered around. I tried to watch her without being too obvious about it, not wanting to make this little girl uncomfortable. And every so often, as I glanced her way, I would catch Gabriella looking at me, coming just a little closer each time. But as soon as she saw me look back, away she would scurry. I didn't take it personally. Each child has his or her own comfort level around strangers. And it seemed that Gabriella would simply do her own thing and give Santa a wide berth. But then, quite unexpectedly, I turned around to check on Gabriella and suddenly noticed her standing right next to my left knee, holding a book in her hands. I didn't move. She opened the book and started showing me some of the pictures inside. "Oh my!" I finally said with a warm grin. "Those are very pretty pictures, aren't they?" I did my best to look interested and engaged, but Gabriella put the book down without a word and walked away. Oh well, I thought. At least we had our moment. But then Gabriella came back with another book and handed it to me, standing just close enough that her outstretched arms could reach my outstretched arms. "Would you like me to read this to you?" I asked gently. She nodded without saying a word, but she wouldn't come any closer. So I started reading the book to her, turning it around to show her the pictures, and she stood there listening, watching me intensely the entire time. As I continued reading to Gabriella, another little girl came into the store. This second girl showed no hesitation at all. She ran up to me and gave me a big hug, and of course I hugged her back. Then she started to talk to me, telling me how good she had been and all about the stores she had visited that day with her mom. I had to stop my reading to Gabriella because this other little girl had so much to say. And as I talked to this new arrival, I noticed Gabriella suddenly moving to stand right next to me, and she put her hand on my knee. I felt the touch, and I turned to give Gabriella a smile and a wink, even though the other little girl never paused in busily listing all the toys she most wanted for Christmas. A few minutes later, this animated little girl wandered back over to her mother, leaving Gabriella alone with me once again. "Please read more?" she asked, and I realized that those were the first words I had heard Gabriella say to me out loud.
I like that.
Yeah.
I do too.
That's actually really good. I have to look into that.
Yeah, they give you five minutes and 5 minutes only. So I was like, okay, I find a good chapter where it's like perfect at 5 minutes, and that was the one that we.
Oh yeah, that's actually really good. Well, I do appreciate you, Jonathan, coming in. It's actually been our hour. I am going to probably end it here. I had we have a refreezing happen right now. Actually, I'm sitting, what is my current temp right now? Let's see what it feels like outside.
Feels cold.
Yes, it is. So right now I'm sitting at -15 with the wind chill. I'm sure I'll have to be out on duty here in a couple hours. That's usually when we start having more idiots try to get out and go to Walmart and do this or go find some place to eat because they're high and hungry. I want to thank Jonathan Lane for coming on. Tim Johns, John Hardy, John Rogers, Jeffrey Higdon, Eric Johansson, Jeremy Karsten, Sean, and Drew of the Rustler Camp. It's been an honor to have you guys on here. This will be my last broadcast as CS for the Xmas time. We do have one more after dark that I hope I'm going to get a little more notification out to people. And we're going to finish out the year on a big note. So I appreciate you guys. It's been fun having you all. And if I don't talk to any of you guys, which I'm sure a couple of you guys are bugging me before the weekend's up, Merry Christmas. I hope everybody has a blessed holiday. Happy New Year. And enjoy the holiday with your family.
Same to you, Steve.
Thanks.
And everybody else.
Make somebody else the host and stop the broadcast.
I'll stop
Merry
it.
Christmas, all.